This is the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Apparently I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Folks, Entourage sucks. I'm sorry. Lily and I have just been talking about it here for the past 5 minutes, and I can't fucking stand Entourage. And yet, I subject myself to the torture of Entourage every goddamn Sunday night. I sit there and I watch it, and I go, maybe it'll be different this time. Why will it be different? Nothing's changing. Fucking E's still a pussy. Skirt chasing this fucking Emmanuel Cricky character. God damn it. And yet I watch it. You know why I watch it? Because of Piven. Lily and I were just talking about that. Piven is the man. Anything Piven does in that show is fucking interesting and cool, and I want to see him scream at people and be a fucking monster, and I hate whenever there's a conflict for him. It's like, I'm an idiot, folks. I watch television shows, and you become invested in shows. You just do, even though you shouldn't, because you have a life, you have a wife, you have work you could possibly be doing. There's other things you could do. Christ, I could go on the internet and read baseball statistics from the 70s. That'd be much more interesting. I do that. Oh, my God, folks. There's no more time waster than looking at old sports stats. I've said this before. I used to buy fucking newspapers, and I wouldn't read them. They would stack up in my house. I would have, and I used to buy 3 newspapers a day. I used to buy 5 newspapers a day. This is not an auction. It sounds like it is. I used to buy 5. Do I hear 5? Do I hear 6? Anybody buy 6 newspapers a day? When I lived in Lake Tahoe, man, I used to buy the Oakland Tribune, the Sacramento Bee, the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Lake Tahoe the Tahoe Daily Tribune. That's what it was called. That was a fucking whiff. It came with a fish wrapped right in it just to save me the trouble. And that's right from my earliest act, folks. Take that, right from my earliest stand-up. You remember stand-up, the career I used to have? All right. Before I decided sitting in a bedroom and talking to nobody was a much better career move. Yeah, it's great. It's going very well. Hold on. Do you hear the iTunes noise? The iPhone? I hear it. Because now there's 2 iPhones in here. There's mine and Lily's, and then you hear that little dee. All right. But you get invested in television shows and you watch them, and then I get mad at them, and I don't know. There's no point in getting mad at them. It's stupid. It's foolish. But it's like when I watched Friends. Karen and I watched Friends all the time. We loved Friends. We were into it. And then all of a sudden, like in the last season, Rachel started fucking Joey, and Ross was like on the. And literally when it happened, I go, "That's it, done. I am done. Don't need to watch it," because they're just looking for a way to stay afloat. They're like, "All right, what could happen here? Should she fuck Gunther? She can't fuck Gunther, right?" All right, let her fuck Joey. And then you're just like, this betrayal of the 6 friends. You're like, this makes no sense. It completely ruined everything. Joey wouldn't fuck Rachel just because he's Ross's friend. If you're a dude and you're Ross's friend, you don't fuck Rachel. No matter how many times Ross says to you, hey, you know what? It's cool, man. Go ahead. You don't do it. Why am I talking about something that happened 10 years ago? I don't know. Because I'm trying to explain that you get invested in television shows and then you get pissed off when something happens that betrays the mythology or the character. It's like I talked about did I talk about Terminator on here? I did, right? I talked about how much I talked about how much I hated Terminator this year. But again, I talked about if you analyze, I wrote about this in Comedy Film Nerds, if you analyze Terminator for 5 minutes, the entire fucking thing falls apart. It completely falls apart. Skynet apparently went live and then blew up the Earth, and then there's humans that are still alive, but now Skynet wants them dead. Why does Skynet want all the people dead? It makes no sense. Skynet is a bunch of robots who have become self-aware, they're Terminators, and then they're going to kill all the human beings in the world. Okay, well, then they do. Then what? What does Skynet do then? Walk around? I mean, it makes no sense. Why does Skynet want all the people on the Earth dead? And in the newest Terminator, if they want all the people on the Earth dead, why are they spending the entire movie capturing the people? They capture them and they bring them back to Skynet headquarters. What the fuck? Why? Kill them! You know what you do? Scoop them all up, put them on the ship, fly them to Skynet headquarters, but fly it right into an incinerator and burn the fuck out of all of them. Kill them. You don't want them alive. Why would you even keep them in a prison? You're robots. What does it matter? And then, even worse, like small details. Why did the Terminators wear clothes? Why? It makes no sense to me. When you watch it, are they sneaking up? I guess if they're sneaking up on people, and I'm not even talking about like the Schwarzenegger Terminators, because they look like naked dudes, and they've got to try to blend in with human beings. I'm talking about the chromium skull Terminators, like the crazy skeletons. Why are they wearing fucking clothes? There's a Terminator in this movie wearing a do-rag. Who the fuck are you fooling? Seriously. He's wearing a do-rag. He's like walking his patrol, and he's carrying a gun with a do-rag on. Like a fucking, he's supposed to be G.I. Joe Sergeant Rock. I don't fucking get it. You're a robot. Why do you have a do-rag on? Take it off. Kill the people. Why are they herding them into a goddamn pen? It makes no sense. The Terminator mythology completely falls apart. Think about it for 5 minutes, it's over. That's it. And I have a feeling for some reason now that I may have talked about this. I may have actually said this entire speech at some point in the show. So this is the show of repeating, folks. That's what I'll do. I'm just going to repeat everything that I've ever talked about. Folks, I hate the hassle. Seriously, I hate the hassle of going in and getting in. Here, let me tell you a story about buying a car that will have all of you rushing out to purchase razor blades and cutting your wrists. Because, oh my Christ, when will it end? Speaking of repeating, here's what I did this week, folks. I hosted a burlesque show. I did that on Monday, and it was great for the ladies were great. I was there. I was facilitating. I was moving it along, trying to keep people involved. But here's what I found out. This is great. Here's folks. I always tease you about how this is a free show, and if you complain about it, you should write to my complaint department, which is nowhere. But here's something that happened the other night. I'm on emceeing this show, and it's funny. Lily would like me to do her show more often, and I won't do it because I feel that the people that come, because she has a bunch of regulars, and I feel that if they see me enough, they're going to get tired of my bag of tricks and not have any interest in seeing me there at the show. She maintains that's not the truth. She's like, no, they really like you. And I go, yes, they really like me now. If they had to see me 3 out of 4 weeks doing the thing that I always do and kind of talking in circles and all that, they wouldn't be on board with me anymore. They'd be like, hey, where's that guy who makes pancakes? I mean, they'd be looking for that guy. Because Lily has a host of the show who apparently comes out and makes pancakes. I don't know how or why. He juggles pancakes?
Yes.
Sure. Okay, that's certainly infinitely different and better than just cooking pancakes. He goes ahead and juggles them. So, I don't understand it. So, but the thing is, people would be clamoring for Pancake Joseph if they had to see me more than twice, in a month. So I refuse to do the show. So I haven't done it in a while. So, but I go this week and I do it, and I do what I do, and I keep the show moving, trying to keep the show moving, and all the girls are wonderful. It was the Tarantino Burlesque tribute, folks, and it went very, very well. And it's also this week. If you want to come on July 27th and check it out, there's tickets available, and we'll talk about that later. But at the end of the show, I'm saying my goodbyes. I'm talking to some people, and people are very complimentary. They're like, "Hey, nice job, really good." And one of the regulars, a guy that who comes to the show, comes up to me and he goes, "Oh, we gonna see you next week?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "New stuff next week, right?" I go, I said, "What?" He goes, "Well, you'll have like new bits, like new things to talk about next week." And I went, "Oh, yeah, I guess so, probably." He goes, "Well, you're always pretty good at pulling stuff out of your ass. So, I mean, I guess that'll be okay. But I'm just saying, like, your other stuff, will it be new?" And I'm just like, I just wanted to go, you know what? Fuck you, dude. Seriously, this show's about tits. It's not about me. I just happen to be there facilitating it and getting people up on stage. And whatever I do is incidental to the show. The show's a burlesque show that happens to have a mouthpiece in it. But instead, I have to be challenged to have new material next week, or I guess this guy's not going to find it satisfactory. He's going to be like, "No, I'm sorry." Do you go up to the dancers and go, "Hey, new tits next week"? How's that going to work? I enjoyed your routine and your pasties and everything were great, but you seriously, you going to have a new ass next week? Because that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I need variety in my life. Get fucking bombed. New stuff next week. Yes. Yeah, because that's what I do is I write an entire new act to talk about between strippers. That's what because I know people here really like the erudite political material that I'm going to bring to the table. That's what I'm going to do. I wrote a whole chunk on Obama's healthcare plan that I'm going to bring next week as people sit there and swill fucking drinks and go, "Bring on the breasts." And I'm going to go, "Hold on a second, folks. Let's talk about the situation in Chechnya." Boo. But they told me they wanted new material. Boo. Yeah, they should just be booing me all the time anyway. That'd be fun. And of course, I say that now, and anybody who listens to this will come and boo me, and then I'll be like, "That isn't funny," and they'll be like, "You said to do it, ha ha, because that's what you told us to do, and we're booing you, ha ha." And then I'll say, "Boo!" I'll boo their booing, and the whole thing will just turn into a boo fest. We wrote a character. We wrote characters called the Boo Guys when I was working at Load. Because I love Boo. I think Boo is the funniest thing in the world. Not Ghost Boo, although a Ghost Boo is funny because I don't know why a ghost decided to say Boo. But I think human beings booing at baseball games or at football, I think it's the funniest thing in the world because it's the stupidest noise. Who said that? I hate this guy. Boo! It's the dumbest thing. Who would say Boo? Why don't you just yell, "You fuck," or something like that people can understand? But just weird noise Boo. I think it's odd. So we invented a characters called the Boo Guys. And they essentially went everywhere to boo. We were at a funeral, we booed at a eulogy. We were at the opera, booing at the opera. And the opera sketch we wrote just because my friend Russ can sing. And he can sing his ass off. So I'm like, dude, we got to get you in a sketch singing. We got to have you do something. So he sang Ave Maria, and it was unbelievably beautiful. And then me and my buddy Steve Seagren just booed it. Boo! And then Jimmy Pardo would come. He was the usher, and he would kick us out all the time. And we had opera glasses. It was funny. All right, never mind. I don't know why that matters. Just I'm fascinated by the sound of boo. I think it's hysterical. Not just for ghosts. I think it's fascinating that people decided that. Like, how did they come upon that as a noise? Were there noises before people booed to show displeasure? Were they just like yelling like "Rawr!" and then it didn't work? That doesn't work. We need something else to convey exactly how we feel. Boo. This is going nowhere, folks. Quite frankly, the last 30 seconds, boo it. If you're home, boo it. It deserves your scorn. And I think you should show that scorn with a hearty boo. Yeah, see, I don't blame you. There you go. Lily knows. That should be. She should have a microphone for that. I would go do the Steven Tyler Joe Perry thing, but she's on the bed and I can't reach. I would have to get up, and God forbid we do something like that. That would make no sense. All right. So the show was good the other day, I guess. The dancers were good. I was there. Had a couple of wardrobe malfunctions. That was interesting. First couple of dancers. Hold on, yawning. First two dancers went and did their tassel tricks, and boom, pasties flew into the crowd, revealing the nipples for all to see. Not nipples, plural. Well, one nipple each. So I guess. So each of the first two dancers had a pasty fly into the audience, and hit somebody in the eye. We had to call an ambulance. Someone had a fucking pasty because the one girl did you remember it's a burlesque Tarantino tribute. So she came out dressed as Gogo Yubari from Kill Bill, and then her pasties had the small metal balls like Gogo would have. It was great. And then she immediately started to spin them, and boom, one of them flew off, and it hit somebody right in the face. Boom. So they took it was like a small version of Kill Bill right there in the bar, where the Gogo Yubari ball flew and hit her and quite frankly. If you're dating that chick, how do you not make her wear those at all times and then like smash in the face with them? I would never do that. I would be like, you know what? Put on the Yubari tassels and just do the tassel trick right in my face and just shred me. I don't care. I'm all for it. Because I mean, come on. If your girl's willing to dress up as Gogo Yubari, then how do you not bring her to the sack dress like that? These burlesque chicks are all crazy. Like they're all dressed up in these costumes. If you're banging these chicks, you got to just be going, you know what, honey? Go ahead and wear the peacock costume tonight. I mean, I would make them. Forget about it. I mean, I would not. It's like if you're a porn star, everybody expects you to fuck like a porn star. If you're a burlesque dancer, I'd be like, dude, you got to wear a crazy costume into the sack because that's half the battle. You need to put on your nun outfit and come in here. I mean, seriously, there's got to be something worth, because, I mean, look, we all enjoy straight sex, the straight ahead sex, but if you can jazz it up with the appearance of a fan or something, if you can have somebody put on a fucking burglar mask and tear away pants, you do it. That's the move. But I won't know because although I could make Karen do that, I guess she'd probably do it. Hey, put on a burglar mask and tearaway pants. Okay. But then, like, she'd put it on, and then she'd go out like that. Like, she'd wear them out in the public. I'd be like, what are you doing? I said, put them on so we can go ahead and have sex like that. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to go get cigarettes. All right. But I've talked about this show before too, the burlesque. God, this is the show of repeating. I have talked about all of these things. You know what? I'll talk about the Phillies. Why not? Since we're doing that, the Phillies have won 10 in a row. Well, they lost today finally, but the Phillies are marching to the World Series. This show could have just aired last October, folks. This entire show could have been from last summer. This could be a rerun. It's a summer rerun. That's exactly what it is. We've brought in a summer rerun. We're repeating everything that we've talked about in the past. So go ahead and enjoy that. I'm sure that you're sitting there going, it's summer, man. I don't know how we can do first run shows all the time. I'm not. This particular week, I'm taking a break from doing a first run show and talking about all these things that you've heard before. Ah, Christ. The show of repeating. I should just fucking tell stories that, because I get people all the time who write that want me to tell stuff over again, and I'm like, really? It doesn't make any sense because, again, as we all know, I don't like repeating anything. I hate it. But yet, unfortunately, today I find myself in a loop of repeating everything. So why not? So this should be the one where I just dump. I'm just going to dump everything on you folks. So, all right, you know what? I'll do this because this is a story I've not told on my show. So there's people who know me from this show. I used to be on a show. This is the show, The 40-Year-Old Boy, and I have a lot of people who know me from this show. But I will tell you that I used to be on a show called Never Not Funny, which is a podcast that is extremely successful. I'm going to say it's our most successful podcast in America. That's my guess. Because there's the Ricky Gervais show from overseas, but Never Not Funny is kind of like the American version of the Ricky Gervais show. It's got a very funny guy named Jimmy Pardo and producer Matt Belknap. They do a great job. They have comedians on. Well, for the first year, they used to have a third guy there by the name of Mike Schmidt. Hi, that's me. And I would be there, and I would throw bon mots, and I would throw comic relief in periodically, and I would try to do my best to contribute to the broadcast. And I will tell you, if you're interested in hearing those broadcasts, you can actually buy Season 1 of Never Not Funny. That's right. Go back and listen to what it was like when I actually had people who tolerated me in a room. Go ahead and order that show, and you'll hear what it was like when I actually spoke to others instead of talking in a fucking space. But when I was on that show, there were things that I would talk about, and then I've had people who've written me since, and they're like, dude, you got to tell that story again. And I'm like, well, I don't, but why? I mean, I've already told it. But the thing is, there are enough people listening to this show now where I guess I could do that, right? Could I get away with that?
Yes!
Everybody?
Yay!
Could I do that? In this thinly veiled disguise of the fact that I have nothing to talk about this week? As I go ahead and I unearth, you know what? It's greatest hits. That's what it is. It's the greatest hits of the 40-Year-Old Boy from back before he was that. But when I was on another show, I'll tell you this story. This happened once, folks. Enjoy this. This chestnut from the past. This is so fucking weak. God damn it, this is weak. But I got nothing for you this week, folks. I'm sorry. I apologize. And you know what? This is also part of the repeating because I've done this before where I repeated that I have nothing for you. Yeah, and I would say the last few shows, I've kind of hit a stride where that hasn't been a problem. I've been able to kind of wing stuff and make stuff happen and talk. And not so much this week. This week I didn't do anything. It's fucking, it's 110 degrees and I basically sat in the house and then went and did the burlesque show. That was it. The end. And then I talked about Friends. Why did I talk about Friends on this show? I still can't get over that. I bitched about Friends. Friends has been off the air for like 7 years. It's been in reruns. It's on every day, and you all know what I'm talking about. But so fucking what? That's so awful. Let me tell you something, folks. I would watch that Brady Bunch show. You ever seen it? It's a terrible fucking show. Anyway, what a jagoff. All right, so, one time. Once upon a time, just do it like that. This whole thing's a fairy tale anyway, so why not, folks? Once upon a time, my wife and I, we were out, and then we came home, and my wife she was going to go pick some stuff up. She had to go and run an errand. So we were in the house, and we had been kind of fooling around, and then she's like, well, I'm going to take off. I'm like, all right, good. And so she went outside. And let me set the scene here. We were at my apartment. My apartment is a courtyard apartment. It's not indoors. Like when you walk out the door, you're outside. You're in the courtyard of my apartment complex. It's like a big, kind of like a big horseshoe around the pool. I live in Melrose Place, basically is what I'm saying to you folks. So my wife leaves. When you walk out of my apartment, you have to take a left, and you walk down a thin hallway, and you go out to the parking compound. Compound? It doesn't make any sense. So she had to go out to her car, and she's going to leave. And when you go there, there's like a big a door that's made of, it's a gate. It's like bars. And So she walks out. So I follow her outside, and I walk over there, and my wife gets in her car, and I figure as I'm standing, I don't follow her all the way out to the parking garage. She doesn't know I'm there. Okay, she goes out to the parking area, and I follow her out. And as the door closes, I get to the door of the gate, and I see her go to get in the car. Now I figure, well, my wife's about to get in her car, and then when she leaves, she's going to drive by and she's going to look at the gate. So wouldn't it be funny if I stood there with my cock out? Now, I thought it would be hysterical if she just went, if she like, gets in the car and she goes to split, and then she drives by and you look over and there's just me and hanging, and I'm like, all right, well that's gonna be funny, right? That'll be hysterical. So I walk outside and I follow her to the like I said, she goes into the parking garage. She gets in the car, closes the door, and I go ahead and I prepare. Folks, I reach in, I pull out, I hang it out there, and I'm standing there. And I will tell you that my back is to the apartments. It's to the courtyard. Like I'm in the hallway, so nobody can see me, on either side of me. And from the back, you can't see me. You can see me standing there, but you don't know that I got my cock hanging out. As much as I wish you could see it from the back hanging between my legs, you can't. So I whip it out, and I'm standing there waiting for her. Now, she gets in her car and she starts the car. And I will tell you this about my wife. She is notoriously deliberate. When we park somewhere, I will get out of the car and I will walk to the door of the place. My wife still is not out of the car because she's gathering her purse and her keys and getting a cigarette ready and putting a drink away and ruining my phone. Whatever the fuck she's got to do, she's doing it. So she's in the car and I'm waiting. And so I've got a lot of time to improvise now at this point. You're giving me, again, I'm a very creative person, folks. So she's giving me a lot of time to consider how to make this funnier, how to make this better. Because sure, me standing there just like looking off in the distance with my cock hanging out is funny. But I think to myself, you know what? You know what would be even funnier? If I threw a little helicopter in. Now, for those of you that don't know what that means, okay, helicopter is when you, all right, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. All right, when you say you're going to throw a little helicopter in featuring your cock, it sounds dangerous. I know it sounds dangerous to some of you who are not familiar with the process, but all it means is you basically start spinning your cock around like the top of a helicopter. So I think that's going to be even funnier when she drives by and then she sees the helicopter rolling. She's going to crack up, right? This is going to be fucking hysterical. She's going to drive. She's going to see me. I'm going to do it. And I'll tell you, I'm not a stranger to this kind of thing. I've done it. I've talked about it in an earlier podcast here on the 40-Year-Old Boy. We went to the movie theater once and I just pulled my cock out. Like, my wife, of course, looked at me and left. Got up and walked out and left me standing there. So I will tell you that incident occurred after the incident I'm telling you about now. So I figured I'll throw in a little helicopter to liven up the proceedings. So I'm standing by the gate, and I normally, all right, at the burlesque show, when women do the tassel trick, what they do is they bounce and they move their tits back and forth, and that's what gets the pasties and the tassels spinning. That's the tassel trick. Well, when you do the helicopter, kind of the same deal occurs. You can go and it's you basically get the hips going like a hula hoop, and you're kind of you get it spinning around. All right, I'm very familiar with all of the incarnations of the helicopter, folks, but I will also tell you that I'm thinking very quickly, and I realize that I have my back to the apartment complex. So if someone were to come down and start walking down the hallway, and they would see me just gyrating there in the doorway, they would realize something was up. So instead of going with the automatic helicopter, I decided I had to start it manually. Does that make any sense? I think it does. What it means is I basically take my right hand and I start spinning my cock around like a watch fob in a 1940s movie. It's as if I were wearing a zoot suit and I had my cock tucked into a pocket and then I pulled it out and spun it around. It's like if I was doing a yo-yo trick and I was going around the world. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. So what it is it means that I'm standing there and so I start the helicopter manually. I figure that's the only way to do it. My wife is backing out of her spot, and then she stops. Now, that's fine. Again, I'm used to her taking as much time as she possibly can. So this is probably like 30 seconds now. I'm standing in the doorway, and I've got, at first I'm just hanging, and then I go, you know what? Boom, helicopter. Let's mix that in. So I'm standing there, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I reach down, I grab a handful, and I'm swinging the slingshot. It's like I'm about to fucking hit Goliath in the head, and David will be triumphant. Okay, so I'm spinning my cock. She's backing up, and then she stops. And for some reason, I don't understand why my wife is backing up slower than she's ever backed up in her entire life. It's as if she went ahead and got in the car and went, you know what? I think there's going to be 100 baby chicks behind me. I need to go as slowly as possible so as not to disrupt their day. Which is fine. I don't care. I got all the time in the world. I can helicopter all fucking day. So I'm standing there. I got the manual helicopter going. I'm swinging it back and forth. It's going around and around. See, she starts backing out, and I'm waiting for her to back out and see. It's going to be hilarious. I can't wait. I'm standing there. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. We're getting ready. She's backing up extremely slowly. I mean, in a way that makes me wonder exactly if she may have died of a stroke and the car is just in neutral going backwards. I don't know what the fuck is happening, but I'm standing there. I'm spinning my cock. She's backing up slowly. I'm waiting for her to see it because it's going to be fucking hilarious. And then all of a sudden, I hear, "You need to stop that." And I look over, and in the parking garage, there's a woman who's one of my neighbors who happened to be putting things in her storage area by her car. I mean, I'm fucking frozen. Meanwhile, Karen's still backing up slower than anybody's backed up in the history of backing up. Moving is like she's conserving gas. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. I don't know what all I know is I'm spinning my cock. I'm waiting for her to back up, and I just hear, "You need to stop that." And I look over, and this woman is staring right at me. I mean, I can see her. I didn't know she was there. She's hidden behind her car, putting stuff in her storage area, which is above her car. I didn't know. She's not making any fucking noise. Do me a favor, make some goddamn noise. If you're in your if you go out to your parking area, just rattle some pans around. Do something, because you got to either scare away the raccoons or make the guy who's going to pull his cock out know that somebody's in the vicinity. Jesus Christ. I got a handful of dick, and I'm just fucking swinging it around, and you need to stop that. And I look over at her, and I'm still spinning. I'm still like, because it's not registering. I don't even fucking know. Meanwhile, Karen still not backed out. Now we're at like a minute, and we're at 90 seconds of helicopter. I'm surprised I didn't fucking take off and fly away. That's how fucking intensely I'm helicoptering. And this woman drops, "You need to stop that" on me, and I lose it. I lose my mind because, dude, I mean, now this bumped up from horseplay to second-degree felony really quickly. So I look at this woman, and I immediately fucking wrap it up and put it away, and I don't zip up. I don't have the time to zip up, but I walk out. And I go to approach this woman, and I go, "Look, I am really sorry." And she's like, "Look," and she's backing up. Like, she's like, "Don't come near it." I go, "No, it wasn't for you. It was for my wife. She's backing out. It was a joke. I was just goofing around." And now the weird part is Karen is backing up, and imagine this. She looks out the windshield, and she just sees me walking, talking to the woman, the neighbor, like furiously gesturing and pointing at her and going. And so she doesn't know what the fuck is going on. But I'm trying to tell the woman, I go, "Look, no, it wasn't. I swear to God, I didn't know you were there. I was goofing around. My wife is right here. It was just a joke. She was going to drive by, and she was going to see me. It was going to be funny, but I know it's not funny now. I wasn't trying to be. I'm not like some pervert. I'm not some weird dude." Because again, this is a new neighbor. Like, she's only been there a couple of months. Like, she hasn't even really met us. We just exchanged highs and buys. So I don't even know her fucking name, and she doesn't know me. But I can tell you this: she knows what I'm packing. That's what she knows at this point. We haven't exchanged pleasantries, but she could pick out my cock in a lineup. So sure enough, man, I'm talking to her. She's talking, and she's like, "Look, I don't want." She won't even look me in the face. She's so freaked out, And I'm like, look, I wasn't for you. I swear to God it's for. And then my wife pulls up and rolls her window down. And because I'm trying to make sure, I look at her and I go, all right, look, listen to me. I had my cock out and I was spinning it around trying to make you laugh, but unfortunately she saw it. You got to tell her I was goofing around. What? You're kidding me, right? I mean, how do you drop that in your wife's lap? But I'm so desperate at that point to make sure that they understand I'm not some fucking freaky pervert dude that I didn't care. I'll hash it out with Karen later, okay? I'll explain to her what's going on, and she and I can figure it out. But at this point, I need to make sure that this woman doesn't fucking call the cops and report me for fucking hanging brain on everybody. And sure enough, Karen's just like, what? And I go, it's nothing. It's just, you need to tell her that I'm not like a freak. And I was trying to make you laugh. And I was just, because I was standing there. I had my cock out, all right? I had my cock out and I was spinning it around. I was being funny and she saw it. You just got to tell her it was for you. And she's making this face like, what are you, I'm running up to get soda. Are you kidding me? And finally she pulls forward and she's like, no, he's my husband. He was just joking. I think that's all that she can say at that point. He's my husband. He was just joking. The woman's just like, yeah, that's fine. All right, whatever. I literally wants nothing to do with either of us at this point. And I don't care because I don't want anything to do with her either. I just want to make sure that she's not going to call the fucking cops. Because I got no interest in having to explain to them why the fuck I'm busting out a helicopter on a Sunday afternoon. So this woman just calmed down. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Dude, there's a fucking helicopter flying over the house right now. I'm not kidding you. You can't hear it. That's kind of funny. I mean, let's be honest. That's funny. That's crazy that just happened. All right, so just like a police helicopter just flew over. I think it could have been someone in the neighborhood. Who knows? Maybe someone has learned how to add sound effects to their helicopter because I didn't. I was just silently. All you could hear was because I was just silently doing the helicopter. But perhaps I should have added a motorboat noise. But no, because then I would have been seen much earlier. I'm sure she would have seen me immediately at that point. But Karen finally explains, no, he was just joking. And then she drives away. And then I get in the house and the phone's ringing. By the time I get in, she's like, what happened? And I go, oh, my God. So I have to explain to Karen what happened. And she's just like, what is wrong with you? And I go, yeah. I go, it would have been funny if you would have looked. Why did you back up so slow? Because that's her fault. It's her fault that I had to stand there with my cock out for so long. Seriously, if you drove like a normal person, it wouldn't have been a problem. But that woman, it's so funny. Then that woman lived in my apartment complex, and I would see her, because you would going to get the mail or whatever, and she would just always smile at me whenever she'd see me, because it's like she had that on me, that kind of deal. Like part of me was almost like, you know what, take your clothes off. Seriously, we need to be on even ground at this point. And she has a daughter too. I think that's what that was why I was really freaked out. Is she had like a 14-year-old daughter. Oh, so I was thinking that she was thinking that I was that guy, and I'm like, no, dude, seriously, that's not me. I'm not him. I am right now, but I'm not. I mean, I'm that guy for my wife, not for you. But then every time we would make eye contact, I'd just be like, hi, and she was really nice. I mean, I was really surprised. She'd just be like, hi, and smile. And again, though, because she knew that she fucking had that on me.
We'll be back to the 40-year-old boy right after this.
Hey, it's me, Chewy. Hey, did you buy your Skull Pie t-shirt yet? What the fuck?
It's weird. It's like if you
when you listen to the 40-year-old boy podcast, this is what you hear.
I was pacing. I'm walking around in circles. I'm closing blinds. I'm turning off lights.
This is what he hears. The 40-year-old boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
So that's the helicopter story that I have told. I told it on Never Not Funny, and then we actually made a T-shirt out of it. We had a T-shirt that said "You need to stop that," and had a helicopter on it. It was kind of funny. Actually, it wasn't. It was just. It was a picture of my cock. We had a picture that said, "You need to stop that." And one of those. You ever see? Is it Da Vinci's The Animated Man or whatever, where it's like the guy and he's got his arms and he's like a naked dude? That's what it was. It was just me, but like my cock was in different states of 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Why not? I'll go ahead and say all the even numbers. So there you go. The repeating show continues. The show of repeating was there you go. So, but still, go by Never Not Funny Season 1, and then you'll hear me tell that helicopter story in a shorter version, with no Lily laughing at it. So there you go. That's what else can I tell in the story of the show of repeating? Since we've made it since that's the theme here. What else did I'm trying to, because again, there are stories I told on there, and people will write me. I've had people write me and ask me to tell the helicopter story, and they wrote it on my Facebook page. And the funny part is, people will write me and they'll put it on my Facebook page, and then people will write, "What is that? Like, what does that even mean?" And so now you know. There you go. If you listen to the show, now you know what it was. So now when people write and they talk in code and they're like, "Dude, you got to tell that helicopter story." Now you know what it is. And it didn't have the same oomph for me telling it this time. I don't know. You enjoyed it, which was nice of you. Thank you. But everybody else, I don't know. So enjoy it, folks, or don't. I don't mind whatever you choose to do. This is the show of repeating. That's how we're doing it. What else is there to repeat? What else can I tell? Christ. Oh, there was a story. You know what? I'll tell this story. One time I was. I told this on Never Not Funny, but I told it a short version of it. I was on the road, and I was working in Indianapolis, Indiana. Was I at Crackers? I think I was at Crackers. I don't know. One of those fucking... Jay Leno used to do a joke about the names of comedy clubs and how embarrassing they were. He's like, yeah, he goes, you're on the road. He goes, I'm at ha-has, he-he's, ho-hos. Next week I'm playing a club called Pfft. So I was at Crackers in Indianapolis, and I was working with my friend Brian Noonan. And we were doing the show, and then after the show, they required you to hang out in the bar. It was actually required in our deal. They would, because here's why. They would have the comedy show in the showroom. Then they were trying to get the bar going as its own entity. So kind of what they did was they made it where you were required to be in the bar to keep people there drinking, because then they wanted to hang out with you and have a good time. And they had karaoke. They had all these different things in the front bar. And that was after the comedy show. Which I'll be honest with you, I never understood, because what if I tanked it during the fucking comedy show? Do you really want me hanging out in the bar at that point? People are just drinking and seeing me off surly in the corner, burying my sorrows in a bottomless fucking Patron, and they're just like, oh, that guy was horrible. Hey, folks, how you doing? Are we all enjoying ourselves tonight? No, we were till you showed up. Ha ha! It's great. My contract says I have to be here. Terrible. So, but luckily that wasn't the case. I wound up doing well all week. Actually, the first night we worked, we had to work with a comic. Oh my God. Noonan and I showed up, and Noonan was headlining for the week and I was featuring. But we get there, and the first night they had what they called a special event. And they had a guy named the Disgruntled Clown. He's a stand-up comic named the Disgruntled Clown. And I had heard of him, but I didn't know of him. And Brian was pissed, because Brian's like, wait a minute, because here's why Brian was pissed. If you're expecting the headline and then you show up and they bump you, even if your money stays the same, you're still kind of pissed, because it kind of it changes your whole mindset, it changes your whole job. And then they told me I had to host, because I was going from MC to host. And I was hanging out with Brian, and I kind of didn't really care. Who the fuck cares? But and I was also interested to see the Disgruntled Clown, because I had heard about the Disgruntled Clown on the road. He's a guy who literally dresses up in a clown outfit with clown makeup. And his show is supposedly like confrontational. And, I had heard all these different stories about him. So I was like, oh, this will be funny. And Noonan's just like, fuck that. I don't want to do this. And I'm like, come on. So it was the first 2 nights we had to be with the clown? I think it was. Yeah, because we wound up hanging out with him the next day. So, so this fucking guy shows up, the Disgruntled Clown. And he acts like he's George Carlin. I mean, he's trying to tell us, my crowds are very discerning. And actually, he didn't say discerning, because he wouldn't know how to fucking spell discerning. But he was like, my crowds, man, they get rowdy, but I keep them in line. That was his whole deal, was they would heckle, and then he would pull out a super soaker. and he would show it, and then his thing was he would never have to use it, like, because they would get the vibe that he had a super soaker and nobody wanted to mess with him, and he's the disgruntled clown, and whatever. So Noonan and I are just like rolling our eyes. We're like, this is going to be fucking terrible. I go, but you know what? I can't wait to fucking see it. I go, I want to see this train wreck occur. But I also don't want to go up because if he's saying he draws these rowdy people and it's an interactive show, well, I got to fucking host. And I mean, believe me, folks, if you know anything about me, it's that I don't do that really well. Like because I'm not really good at banter. Like, haha, this is fun. Aren't we having fun? I cut your balls off. Like, I don't even want to fuck around. If you heckle me, I'm just going to go right down your fucking throat and pull out your spleen and then show it to you and then try to do the rest of my show. I just want to do my act. And but also that's also on me as a comic. I don't have the chops. I haven't learned the chops to handle a crowd. I mean, you'd think I would in fucking 18 years, and I have. But it's also, unfortunately, because of who I am as a person, I just want to fucking fight. I mean, it shouldn't be the case, but I kind of do. It's like I get that weird vibrating. I'm an idiot. Basically, that's it. There you go. Bottom line, I'm an idiot. So. We're gonna work with a disgruntled clown, and it's a bank, like a private party, like a bunch of bank people. I don't know who the fuck they are. So we show up, and the clown he's there, and he's got like a van with his face on it. It's very similar to Lily's clown, but Lily's clown not disgruntled. Lily's clown is happy-go-lucky. But this guy is the disgruntled clown, and he brings like his own. He's got a roadie. I mean, it's just awful. And he's got a stage set up with like these giant kids' blocks, like those little blocks with letters on them. He has those, and they're kind of stacked up in a pyramid. And then he's got like, stuffed toys with stab wounds, like because he's the disgruntled clown. He's the anti-children's clown, whatever the fuck. So it's his gimmick. So I go up to host, and folks, I will also tell you this about me. I don't fuck around. So when these people started on me, and I just assassinated them, and they loved it. Like, and so then, as you'll know from this show, when I clamp my jaws onto something and it's working, I don't fucking let it go. So I just fucking, I machine gun this room. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I fucking crush. I destroy. I do extremely well. And to the point where like guys actually tipped me, like they came up and gave me money, like, 'cause that's how well it went. 'Cause it was a Christmas party for this bank. So then I bring up Noonan, and Noonan goes up, and Noonan also kills it. Like, he goes up and he does really well. And I felt bad because I didn't want to work the crowd, because as an MC you don't want to work the crowd before other comics, because it doesn't leave much for them to do, and then the crowd gets into a mindset where they're expecting that. But they kind of came at me right away, so I had to do it. And it went really well, and it was okay, because then Brian is really quick. So Brian also went up there, and he wasn't suffering any fools, and he fucking let him have it, and it was great. So Brian comes off stage, and I have to go up, and I have to introduce the clown. And he's got a crazy, he's got music and lights, and I've got to bring him up. So he goes up on stage, and Brian and I sit in the back, and we watch him fucking chew it in front of this bank crowd. And when I say chew it, I mean, he did okay, but he had been basically telling us, I mean, the disgruntled clown was bragging like all the time about different things. Like, he wears this black and white makeup, and he said that he actually wrote Kiss and got their permission to be able to use, like, I mean, he's one of those guys who like, hey, you know what? I love this town. They love me. I'm going to take you across town, because I needed a coat, because I travel without a coat, folks. And he's like, you know what? One word from me, and they'll give you a free coat over at the, and I'm just like, all right, dude, I don't need that. He kept bragging about what was going to happen. So then he goes up on stage, and I'm completely underwhelmed by him. Like, his whole act is just like, I'll tell you what, these fuckers, I saw these fuckers at the grocery store. Those fuckers are stupid. Like, it's like that kind of level. It's just completely base. Like, let's put it this way, he's the skin on top of the soup. There's no soup underneath. This guy's just the skin on top of the soup. He's all surface. And then they start heckling him, and he's like, oh, hey, you fuckers, you better not heckle me. I don't fuck around like those other two guys. Well, that doesn't make any sense, because the other two guys fucking destroyed. I know that's your stock line to go, hey, you might want to fuck with them, but you're not going to fuck with me. Well, no, they did fuck with us. And then we crushed them and put them in their fucking place. You know why? Because we're goddamn professional comics who don't have to hide behind a fucking pound of grease paint, you hoop. Hoop? I was going to say hump and goof, and I said hoop. That was awful. You hoop? Actually, that should be a new swear word. You hoop. All right. So, but he's on stage, and then then they start heckling him, and then he goes over. I'm telling, this is 5 minutes into his act. He's doing an hour, okay? This is 5 minutes in. They're all over him. He has to grab the super soaker, okay? And that's the whole deal is he thinks he can grab it and show it to them and make a face like, huh? Guess what? And they're all going to go, whoa, you're right. He showed us, and then let him do his show. But it's a private party for a bank. They all know one another. So, believe me, I've been at enough horrible Christmas party events to know that these people aren't going to shut the fuck up. The only way they shut the fuck up is if you make them shut the fuck up, which I did and which Brian did. Well, fucking Bozo pulls out the super soaker and he shows it to him, and then this guy in the audience is like, fuck you. This guy keeps heckling him, and to the point where he actually has to aim it at him, and the guy's like, come on, shoot me. Fucking shoot me. I don't care. And so then he blasts the guy with the super soaker. And the place goes crazy because that's what they wanted. He thought it was going to buy him time, and it was the very threat of it. His whole point was he was going to do his show, and he would periodically get to pick up the super soaker and quiet the room and but no, he's had to use it in the first 5 minutes, so his running bit is gone. Your threat of using a super soaker on the audience is finished because now they know you did it, and great, you've done your worst. So they eat him alive. I mean, they absolutely, and he does his act and he gets through it, but he's not, he's the kind of comic who's like, hey, you know what, can I get a beer? Here's to you guys. We used to call a guy a food comic. There's comics you call a food comic. That's a guy who works in town and he buys pizza for the wait staff because he wants them to like him, so then they give a good report to the guy who books him so then he can come back. It doesn't have to be funny. As long as he's a food comic. Go ahead and buy pizza. That's great. Well, this guy, he's doing that pandering shit where you're pandering to the audience and you're like, hey, guys, let's do a shot. Hey, who wants to send me up a shot? So then he's doing shots on stage. He's not even doing his act anymore. He's just now he's just a birthday clown walking around with a squirt gun drinking. I mean, it's so bad. And Noonan and I are laughing because he talked this huge game about how he was going to tear the room apart. And, it was terrible. So he fucking finally finishes. He's supposed to do an hour. I think he wound up struggling through 48 minutes. He didn't, and even that was a way too much time. And then I went up after him and we closed the show. So then we got to go hang out in the bar afterwards. And the clown decides that he's in his element. Apparently the clown doesn't realize how badly he did on stage. So the three of us have to go hang out. And you can tell he resents the fact that we're even there. Because I'm not stressing enough that he is a guy who thinks that he's a star. And he thinks everybody came there to see him. And I guess they kind of did. Unfortunately, they ran into two comics before him who were fucking great. So the clown is there, and he's got his clown outfit on and his clown makeup, and he's taking pictures. But then he's kind of insinuating himself to people, where he's walking up and going, "Hey, who wants a picture with the clown?" Well, we don't. We're just enjoying bar snacks. Who cares? Ah! And he puts his arms around him, and they take photos, and it's fucking embarrassing. And Noonan and I are just we gotta get the fuck out of here. I mean, Brian likes having a beer, but with the clown is competing with us. That's the worst part. There's people who want to talk to us and be funny, but then the clown will come over and he's basically stealing everybody's thunder. He's forcing himself on everyone, and I got no interest in competing. I don't want to fucking, especially with a guy in black and white grease paint and a fucking jumper. The guy's wearing a onesie. I'm competing in a bar with a guy wearing a onesie? Fuck that. So Brian and I are at the bar, and then there's this couple. I'll tell you this, there's a couple at the bar, and they're employees of the bank, and the woman is really hot. I mean, crazy hot. And they're doing that thing where they're drinking and they're kind of making out, but then they're talking to us. And the guy tells the girl, he goes, "Oh, go sit on their lap." It was that weird kind of relationship where he could tell her what to do. So, and they were getting off on it. She comes over and she sits on my lap, and then she's sitting on Brian's lap, and we're just, we're married men. I mean, we're not going to do anything, but at the same time, fucking hot chick's going to sit in your lap. Go ahead and sit on my lap. That's fine. Okay, I guess so. And then she was at the bar, and he goes, "Oh man, show him your thong." Look, so she dropped her pants and showed us her fucking thong at the bar, and I'm like, dude, office parties get out of hand, I suppose. But aren't you going to go to work the next day and people are going to go, "Hey, didn't you have Rebecca show her thong to the comics?" I mean, how weird was that? And then he like comes up behind her and she's drinking and he's got his hands on her tits, like he's behind her with his hands, and he's just like, and he's like grabbing her tits and looking at us and going, and he's like, she's got great tits, huh? And we're like, yeah. I mean, yeah, weirdo. I mean, just, and then he flashes us. He pulls her shirt up and and I will tell you this, crazy fucking hot, because she was drinking her drink looking at us. She's making eye contact with us while he pulls her shirt up and then she smiles with her tits out. And again, we're married men, but at the same time, I'm not fucking dead. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and I'm staring her right in the eyes, and she's looking me right in the eyes, just kind of like chewing on her straw and smiling and drinking her drink with her tits out at the bar. Man, that was fucking hot and weird. All right. I liked the road sometimes. So we have that thing going on, which is we've zeroed in on this couple who've zeroed in on me and Brian, and then the fucking clown comes over, hey everybody, and he just like drunkenly, and they put her tits away immediately because they don't want the clown to see him because he's gonna want to sign them or honk them or do whatever the fuck clowns do to tits. I don't fucking know. But then he's like, hey, and they have karaoke going, and he's like, oh man, you know what? And the clown, he's like, oh, I don't sing karaoke. I don't sing till late at night because I got my song and everybody's gonna want to hear it. Like he actually thinks everybody's waiting for him to go up and sing. Oh, it's just a pathetic life being a disgruntled clown. All right. So he's going to sing like Tuesday's Gone, or I forget, he's, some Skinnerd song, not Freebird, but something else equally atrocious. And he starts leading a conga line. I mean, it's just, he's doing all these horrible, he's trying really hard to be noticed and liked. And Brian are like, we got to get the fuck out of here. So we split. And then the next day we actually wind up hanging out with the clown. And after seeing his act, we had seen him the day before, and we kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt because we're like, all right, well, he's the disgruntled clown. It's ridiculous, but we'll see him tear it up, and that'll be fine. After seeing what he brought to the fucking table, I have no pretense at all. So we go out for Chinese buffet the next day, and I'm just being a jagoff to the disgruntled clown. I mean, everything that happens, like I'm busting his balls. I'm just like, so every clown joke, every big shoe, every 9 of 19 friends in your car, every, and just awful, and then he like gave me shit. He was like really mad at me. Like it wasn't hard to do. I mean, I pissed him off because he's kind of dense. So I pissed him off, and then I was like, what are you gonna do? Shoot me with your squirt gun? Like, I mean, it was like that bad. I was so rude to him. Because I was me. You know what I was? I was me. I was a smart ass. And you know what? If you can't keep up, you're going to get fucking dusted. But then if you're going to pretend like you can keep up, then try to keep up. Otherwise, you're going to get fucking dusted. So we wound up having to have dinner with him, and we hung out before he moved on to his next town, whatever. So the next day, like the next show, we're there. And we do our shows. There's 2 shows, I believe. Was it 2 shows? Was it Thursday? No. It was whatever. We did the shows the rest of the week, and this was the trip where the chick wanted to blow me to get to Noonan. I think I told that story on here before. This chick was like, she told me basically she would suck my cock to get to Brian, and I'm just like, wow. And I go up and tell him, I'm like, guess what? Apparently, this town in Indiana was really ready to bang the shit out of 2 comics. I don't know, but that's fine. I was waiting for the bank couple to come back. Let's see them come back for the weekend. So Saturday night. We've been hanging out in the bar all week as contractually obligated, and I don't even drink, but I'm hanging out with Brian and just having fun. So Saturday night we hang out in the bar, and there's karaoke again. They have the karaoke in the front bar. We're waiting, and I getting back to what I talked about earlier. I think it's funny to boo. Okay. I think the ironic boo is hilarious. So I'll do it I've done it at baseball games during the national anthem. That when not during the national anthem, but when they announce like some little kid who's going to sing it, and not crazy. I don't stand up and do it, but I'll do it I just think it's funny. It's funny. I guess it's not. I've been told it's not. Pardo used to fucking hate it. He wanted to kill me. He thought it was a dick move. I didn't fucking care. I thought it was funny because it's. I always thought if people don't know that I'm doing it ironically or to be stupid, then they're dumb. When in reality, I'm dumb. I'm just being a dick. I'm stirring up shit at this point. I know. I get it. So I don't do it anymore. But I used to do it because they'd be like, here to sing the national anthem is Brownie Scout Troop 439's leader, Monica Wilson. Boo! Come on. Who boos Monica Wilson? I do. Because I think it's stupid and funny. So, that said, we're at the bar, and there's a guy running the karaoke machine. And this girl goes up and she's really good. She sings and she sings the karaoke and she does a really good job. She sings and does very well. And I'm at the bar and they're like, "Hey, one more time for da da da," and I go, "Boo." And the karaoke guy goes, "Who the fuck said that?" Now he's on the microphone. I should tell you that he's on the microphone. And also we had been joking around with these people all night. I mean, we're the comics, haha. You know, we're contractually obligated to be there and be silly and have fun. So I boo the girl because the whole point is she was really good. And who boos at karaoke? Nobody. Don't you get it? Anyway, I boo. The guy in the karaoke, running the karaoke, goes, "Who the fuck said that? Who did that?" And he goes, and people point at me at the bar, and he goes, "What the fuck? You think that's funny?" And I go, "Boo!" So I boo him, trying to figure out who said it. I boo him a second time. Now, you would think at that point you would understand that I'm doing it to be silly. I don't really mean to boo I'm not booing anybody. I'm booing to boo. I'm the boo guys. I'm the boo guys at the fucking eulogy. I'm the boo guys at the opera house. I think it's funny to boo. So he goes on the microphone. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you fat fuck. You think that's fucking funny? Oh, yeah, you think you're fucking funny because you're the fucking comedian." Now, this is on the microphone in front of everybody in the room. And I'm sitting at the bar, and I look at Noonan, and I go, "Is that guy... I mean, he's going to drop this, right? Is he still talking to me? Is he..." And he goes, "Yeah, you fat fuck. I'm talking to you." And I will tell you, this is before I lost all my weight. So I was a fat fuck. I'm not going to lie to you. I was a huge dude. But I also, you know what? I'm not the disgruntled clown, and you can't fucking make fun of me in front of a room full of fucking people and get away with it. So I'm at the bar, and I'm looking at Noonan. And the next person comes up to sing karaoke. And they sing their thing, and they do their thing. And I'm at the bar. And they finish their song, and everybody claps. And the karaoke guy gets the microphone, and he goes, "Oh, you didn't boo that, you fat fuck? What the fuck? What's your fucking problem now? You didn't fucking boo then." And I look at Noonan, and I go, "He's talking to me, right?" And he goes, "Just calm down." And I go, "It's all right. I'm just going to go talk to him." So I walk up, and I look at Noonan. Noonan's like, "Dude, don't bother him." And I go, "Dude, he's calling me out like on the microphone in front of everybody because now this bar is packed. Okay, it's Saturday night. We've done 2 shows. Everybody knows who I am, and everybody knows who he is because he's Karaoke Wilson, who works there. I don't fucking know, but I can't understand why I don't get it. It just drop it. You said your piece. I let you say your fucking piece." So the next person finishes their song, and he goes, "Oh, how was that, fat fuck? How'd you feel?" And I go, "That's it." I look at Brian and I go, "I'm just going to talk to him. I'm just going to talk to him." So I wait until he sets up the next person to sing. So the next person starts singing. I walk up to the karaoke booth, and the guy walks over, and he gets about an inch from my face. I go, "What the fuck is your problem, dude?" And he goes, "Oh, you fucking boo? You think you're fucking funny?" He goes, "Oh, because you're in the other room, you're a comedian, we're supposed to all kiss your ass." I go, "No, dude, I was being funny. I'm a comedian, so I was being fucking funny. You're just pissed off because you're out here doing your fucking karaoke bullshit, and you that's who you are. I can't help it that you're pissed off that this is a comedy club and everybody's here because of me. And we start yelling back and forth, and he's an inch from my face, and he starts he's yelling and spit, and it's just fucking, and then he fucking just punches me right in the face. Punches me right just like in the middle of we're yelling da-da-da, and he punches me. I just lets me have it. And I lose my mind, and I just grab him by the fucking shirt, and I just go hockey fight on him. Because I mean, you know what? You hit me, you better fucking knock me out. So he hits me, and I grab him by the fucking shirt, and I pull it up over his head, and I just start fucking throwing right hands into his face. And I'm hitting him, and as I'm hitting him, I push him back into the karaoke equipment. We destroy everything. I destroy the entire karaoke booth. Because I lose. He hits me, and I lose my mind. I just fucking bull rush him, and I grab him. Like I said, I've got him by the shirt. I'm throwing right hands, and we go backwards into the karaoke, and it's like literally like someone is singing. They're just like, we are. I mean, everything just gets destroyed. You just hear this huge crashing noise, and I fall down on top of the guy, and I'm fucking hitting him, and I don't even see anything. All I see is him, and I'm hitting him, and then I just hear fucking silence, and I'm fucking and all of a sudden I hear Schmidt, Schmidt, Schmidt. And I just go, and I snap out of it, and I go, yeah, and it's noon, and he goes, be cool, and he fucking drags me off the guy. And again, I stand up, and I fucking look around, and it's just, it's that thing where everybody in the building is just kind of stopped, and they get their mouths open like, what the fuck just happened? What did you do? And I look, and the karaoke is destroyed. I mean, it's like, it looks like at the end of a movie when a cave, the hideout blows up and there's just fucking machinery and sparks and like wires, because it's all on the ground upside down. It's completely silent except for the people just looking at. I mean, just I destroyed it, and the guy's laying there with a shirt over his head, and I just fucking calm down, and they go come with me, and Noonan takes me into the back. And he puts me in the back room, and he's like, stay here. Don't move. Because this guy, karaoke guy, has friends. And I guess it's getting a little antsy out in the fucking room where they want me. Okay, they want me to come out. And Brian tries to calm him down, and I'm in the back room, and then the waitress comes back, and she goes, are you okay? And I go, yeah. And she goes, well, your face is all fucked up. And I'm like, okay. Well, I go, well, he punched me. I mean, that's happened. And she's like, well, yeah, you broke all the karaoke equipment. And I said, well, I didn't. I go, he started it. I mean, he punched me in the face. He's calling me out on the fucking microphone. And she's like, all right, just relax. And she gets the manager. And the manager comes back. Now, again, folks, I'm working there. I'm not like a guest or a patron. I'm an employee of the fucking club. It's my first time ever working there. Noonan brought me as a feature. So I'm in the back room, and in my head, I'm like, why did you do, what the fuck is your problem? And then I'm like, you know what? No, you're not wrong. He called you out the entire time. You had to do something about it. Because I'm not a pussy. I'm not going to sit there and let this guy fucking talk shit about me. And sure enough, I'm back there. The cops come. And they come in the back. And it's so funny. I told Brian, I go, look, they're going to arrest me. So I'm going to need you to bail me out, and I'll pay you back. And he's just like, I get it. All right. He goes, I said, I've been through this. He goes, you're going to be fine. I go, no, dude. I go, they're going to he's going to press assault charges against me. I'm going to press assault charges against him. We're both going to go to jail, and we're both going to have to get bailed out. That's the way it works. And Brian's like, well, just hang tight. So the cops come in, and they ask me what happened. And I said, look, and I explained that the guy was calling me out because I said something that was funny, and he didn't like it. And then I said, the guy started it. He punched me right in the face, and I lost it, went at it. And they're like, okay. And they took photographs of my face because they could see that I was all fucked up. And then the manager of the club comes in, and they go, did you see it? And it was funny. Virtually all of the employees of the club claimed they didn't see it because they didn't want to betray their friend, the karaoke guy. But how could you not see it? I'm fucking, this raging idiot arguing by the dance floor. But nobody would say anything except there were two people at the bar who both, they had come up to me after I hit the guy and said, look, we saw the whole thing and he hit you. We saw it. So I said, make sure you stick around so you can tell the fucking cops that. And then sure enough, the cops showed up and they go, look, the guy kept calling him and baiting him. And then Mike went up to him and the guy punched him right in the face. And they go, so he hit him first? They said, yeah. And they said to me, they go, all right, well, do you want to press assault charges against him since he hit you first? And I said, no. I said, is he pressing assault charges against me? And they go, well, he hit you first, so you have the option. Like, if you want to press charges against him, that's fine, and then we'll go to him and see what he thinks. I go, well, look, if he doesn't do it, I don't want to do it. I just want this to be fucking over with. I work here. I can't believe that this happened, so let's just fucking shine it. So he goes, okay. And they go to talk to him, and he doesn't want to press charges. So I'm like, all right, good. So we're all fine. Everything's good. And I say to the cops, are you guys going to stick around? Because he had some friends that I think wanted to have a chat with me. And they're like, nah, we pretty much cleared the bar out. Everybody's gone. So, I mean, but we want you to leave right now. So we'll walk you out. So they did. They walked me out. We went to the hotel. And I'm talking to Noonan. We went out. I think we went to White Castle and then went back to the bar. And I'm just like, dude. And he goes, "Why did you even go over there?" I go, "Because." I go, "Brian, you heard the fucking guy." I go, "I'm not gonna let him do that to me." I go, "You're the same way." I go, If he said that, and he goes, "Nah, dude, I wouldn't have done it." I go, "Well, then you're a better man than me." I go, because I'm not gonna sit there and let a guy fucking basically punk me in front of an entire room full of people. And granted, I know that's an 18-year-old's way of thinking, but I don't fucking care. I'm not gonna sit there and get fucking called out. So I'm going to lay waste to all of the karaoke equipment in the tri-state area. You talk shit to me, your fucking entire fake singing booth is getting destroyed. And the best part of it was, in the contract, the whole point is they wanted us to come in there and hang out in the bar so they could get karaoke up and running. Well, I guess it was up and running, and it up and ran out the fucking door because I destroyed it all. So I have, the best part is this is Saturday night. I still got a show Sunday. So I got to come back to the fucking bar and work. And I get there, and I immediately am confronted by a manager who takes me into the back and goes, "We need you to stay out of sight." And I said, "Why?" And it turns out the guy who owns the karaoke operation is a cop. And he's not very happy with the fact that I've destroyed all of it. And the thing is, this is a guy who all week we had been hanging out with because he was in the bar too, getting the bar karaoke up and running, and he was drinking with me and Brian. Not with me, I don't drink, but he would have a drink at the bar, and he was fun, a good guy. But he wasn't there. He had been running the booth all week except for Saturday when he had his hot-headed nephew do it, who I then punched in the face 5 fucking times and destroyed all the karaoke equipment. So I go there and I'm fully expecting this guy to come at me, and because they said he threatened me, like in the middle of the night he was going to go to the hotel. I mean, like all these different things, and so they're like, "We need you to stay out of sight, and when you're done with your show, if you would leave, that would be great." Which I will tell you, folks, does not bode well for rebooking. When they want you to finish your show and put on a fake hat and mustache and sneak out the back door, or they want to hide you in a cardboard box and carry you outside, and put you by the dumpster, and then you make a break for it, that doesn't exactly mean that they're going to bring you back to entertain the masses. So I finish my show, and I immediately hide in the back, and Brian finishes, and we get paid, and we fucking take off. And the guy had come looking for me, I guess, and they told him that I had left. And so Brian talked to him, and he said the guy was cool with it, and the guy understood that the other kid had started it, and said that because that kid had been drinking too, that didn't help. He wasn't supposed to be drinking while he was doing the karaoke, and so he got drunk, and that's why he started the fight with me. And who the fuck knows, and who the fuck cares? All I know is I probably won't be going back to Crackers. And the good news is, if I do go back, I'm assuming I won't be contractually obligated to hang out in the bar anymore. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at MySpace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. And I'm repeating that because it is the show of repeating. And you guys can follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/the40yearoldboy, and that's the number 40. And you guys can get Lily, our friend Lily Von Stupp, who has been faithfully fake laughing through today's show. You can get her at LILI at burlesque411.com.
Hey, it's me, Chewy. Did you get year 1? Download it yet? What the fuck you waiting for? An invitation or some shit?
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, Kankakee Somersault Zipper Flu, the Gibberish Podcast. Communication will never be the same.
Denver Dungarees Northwest Bubble Wing.
Wingnut Shuttle Hat.
Tripwire Assassin Let's Evil Goggle Pringle.
California Zimzam.
Arsenic Floodwater Leavening Death Snake.
Beefeater Thinking.
Oh, Regular Bandicoot.
Lower Asia.
Is it a hidden message? Is it code? You'll need to listen to find out. Kankakee Somersault Zipper Flu, the Gibberish Podcast, on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Rambunctious.
You can also get us both at Facebook, I'm at facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy, and she is at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. Yes, Lily Von Stupp. All right. And I will tell you that, this Monday, please remember, every Monday, first of all, the Monday Night Tease is available for you to go and peruse and stare and possibly lose an eye to a wayward pasty. So every Monday night is Monday Night Tease. This Monday is the encore presentation, the second Quentin Tarantino Burlesque Film Festival extravaganza. Sold out last week, will sell out this week, so go ahead and get tickets at brownpapertickets.com. $20 if you get them there, $25 if you wait and get them at the door. So it's a little extra if you wait. That's how that works. That's how math works, folks. 20 is less than 25. So if you buy them ahead of time, it's 20. If you buy them at the door, it's $25 for the Monday Night Tease. And I mentioned Facebook, and I've mentioned Twitter. Comedy Film Nerds, go to Comedy Film Nerds and read stuff over there. If you've read my column, there, I don't think I'll have a new one this week. I might not. I don't think I will. And where else do I write on the internet? Nowhere, because I'm not popular and I have no friends. All right, so, but please go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and by the way, check out my appearances because I think I still have February of last year up. It just mocks me. I'm an idiot because you know what? On Wednesday I have to write. I gotta change that. I gotta start writing more, right? Don't I? You guys will tell me. No, you won't. How could you tell me? I guess you'd email me and say that. Please write more. So please, yes, by all means, be involved in that. I saw this story today before I left my house. Apparently, local officials are in a tizzy because kids are doing whippets. Now, people are upset, and it explained what whippets were. Whippets are basically they're like the concentrated gas that allows you to have whipped cream. And I can tell you that I read this story, and I honestly thought it was from when I was 13 because whippets have been around all my fucking life. I don't know why they keep writing this. I just picture them being lazy in the news desk and go, you know what, run the whippet story again. I'm sure someone out there, because whippets aren't going away, folks. Whippets are not going away. People are going to just fucking do whippets because they like killing brain cells, and it's easy to do. You get the whipped cream, and boom, there you go. Killed some brain cells, you got high for a second. That when you're in the suburbs, that's what you do. You do whippets, for Christ's sake. I don't know why they're surprised by it. Because you're never going to get rid of them. You know why? Because to get rid of whippets, you would have to get rid of whipped cream. Nobody's getting rid of whipped cream. People love whipped cream. And if it means that some kids are going to kill their brain cells and get high just so some guy can enjoy his macchiato, fuck that. He's doing it. I'm willing to sacrifice the children of the world in order to make sure that my fucking culotta has a nice little foam top on top of it. That's how it works. Whipped cream is here to stay. Because if you want to ban whippets, you're going to have to ban whipped cream. And if you're going to ban whipped cream, you might as well just ban ice cream sundaes because they're not the same without whipped cream. And if you're going to ban ice cream sundaes, you might as well ban apple pie a la mode. And if you're going to ban fucking apple pie a la mode, you might as well just fucking ban America. You hear what I'm talking about, folks? The way I look at it, whippets are America. You can't fucking get rid of them. Whippets are America. Red, white, and really fucking white in your head when you take that fucking whippet high. Boom, that's all you see is white, and then blue because you fucking pass out. That's right, whippets are America. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jagoff. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jagoff. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. 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 You're finished.